Yo, what is going on, guys? In today's video, we are going to be talking about the top 5 best skill champions in Marvel Contest of Champions as of summer 2021. So, this is totally my opinion. It is totally cool if you disagree. No one is going to rank every champion in the game in the exact same order because we've all had different experience with champions based on our crystal pulls and our time playing the game. So, yeah, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. This is just mine. So yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna be talking about the skill class today, and I'm gonna be judging and making this list upon basically two things. So the first is that, based on how good I think a champion is, based on what from other people have told me, from what I've seen, from what I've heard, all kinds of stuff, and the potential I think that these champions have. And then the next thing I'm going to score them on is based on my own personal hands-on experience, what I've done with these hands in game, champions that I've played, and from what I've seen, felt, done, accomplished with these champions. So yeah, that's how I get my opinion on these, and that's how I make this list. And it's really like there's no like concrete thing, like it's just how I feel and think about these champions, so that's how I make it and how it's like my opinion. So of course, people are going to disagree, and that's totally cool, man. I encourage disagreement, but let's just keep it simple in the comment section down below. So let's go ahead and get started with the number 5 spot. I feel like this entire list is going to be kind of a controversial one, but yeah, let's just get into it. And at number 5, we have Mole Man. So Mole God, Skill Corvus. That's what I first called this guy when he first came out, and it became kind of a meme because he wasn't a Skill Corvus exactly. He kind of was, but he wasn't that good. He wasn't as bad as a lot of people said, but he wasn't that good. But then he got buffed. With a lot of characters we're going to be talking about today, I've been buffed. So yeah, Mole Man got an absolute amazing buff, and he is such a beast now. He really rings true to the name of Skill Corvus. He's an absolute monster. He's kind of like a mix between like Skill Corvus and like Captain Marvel, and I feel like a lot of people would rate him higher than the number 5 spot. I just think some of the other characters, and from my own personal experience, I think are a little bit better, and I've used a little bit more, so that's why he only makes it number 5 for me. I only have this guy at 565, and since his buff, I haven't used him a ton, but I've seen some really awesome stuff, especially from Karate Mike with his rank 3 Mole Man. I've seen some really cool stuff. So yeah, definitely think this guy's a beast. Maybe he's a little bit better than I'm giving him credit for, but right now I feel comfortable putting him in the number 5 spot. And yeah, I think I need to play him more and see what else he can do. But yeah, I definitely think he's really solid. And yeah, I think I put him at number 5. So coming in at the number 4 spot, we have again another potentially controversial pick, and that's Aeon. So last year when I did the skill list, I think I had Aeon at number 5, and I think back then I was downplaying him a bit. I think Aeon was better than I was giving him credit for back then. I think Aeon is by far the best character in the game for like Labyrinth and Abyss. But outside of those two areas, there's just a lot of skill champs that are better than him because they can do a lot of what Aeon can do without any ramp up. And that's really the thing that kills Aeon in other content, is just his ramp up. But even like partially ramping him up, it's not too bad, and he can still do a lot of good stuff. Like I used Aeon in Act 6 on for some legs junior, and he did really good there. So yeah, I think Aegon's definitely better than I give him credit for, but still he just doesn't make the top 3 overall, just because of how restrictive he is for build up. But in those specific areas of content like Abyss, like Labyrinth of Legends, he is by far the best. Like there's no disputing that. But right now, I don't have any of that kind of content, There's nothing like that. Like the most end game content right now is like Summer of Pain, and Aeon's not good there. It's one fight, there's in a situation like that, I haven't heard anyone use Aeon for any single Summer of Pain fight, because you need that build up, for it to really be worth it. But yeah, I think Aeon is an absolute beast in those end game scenarios, of course, where he shines brighter than anyone. But yeah, I think Aeon is deserving of that number 4 spot. Definitely a really good all-around character, and definitely has his uses, which is what a character should have. I think Aegon's a really great champion overall because of that. Like he's super overpowered, but yet he's still super balanced because of how much build-up it takes. But the build-up is worth it once you get there. I feel like he's quite actually a balanced champion. in that regard. Overall in the game, in some areas it obviously seems like he's a little overpowered, but I think overall he's balanced. So coming in at number 3, we have one of my actual favorites for the skill class, which is Falcon, who, again, another character that got buffed. Falcon is insane. I think, dude, Falcon, the best skill buff that we've had. I think I was just so impressed by Falcon, man. Falcon was such a crap champ before, and now he's so good. I think he's just such a phenomenal champion. Even in like Abyss and stuff, he's really been able to shine in areas like that. He can just keep building up his damage with those cruelties, and it's pretty nutty. He just has so much utility, and he's so easy and simple to play, and yet he's so good and such a good payoff. It's really crazy how good Falcon is, man. And especially if you have the Awakened ability, then it increases your critical rate. And my Falcon's only signature level 20, and I can notice a huge difference in that critical rating. I can't wait to get him. I don't know when I'm going to get him to Sig 200, but I'd love if he was at Sig 200 just to see how much more he's critting, because even at Sig 20, he's a critting machine when you're locked on. And when you're locked on, you're just able to counter so many different things. Like, it would be impossible for me to list everything. Just like, I'd have to like go look. There's so many things that Falcon can counter with his lock-on ability. Like, it is honestly ridiculous how much stuff this guy can counter. I used him so many times in Alliance War over the last couple seasons when I was with For Loki, and he just did such a good job. He crushed it. Like, every fight he performed phenomenally. I don't know how many times I died with him. I only remember one time dying with him, and I just felt like I got insanely unlucky. Just terrible RNG. I just wasn't critting. And Assassin screwed up too, but that was the only time I can even remember dying. Like, other than that, like, he shined in like every fight I took him into. Was phenomenal. He did just such a good job. I think Falcon is one of the best skill champ buffs that we've seen, and yeah, I'm really happy with the state of Falcon currently in the game, which is really cool. The only thing is that with I do want to see like an MCU version now of Falcon too. I don't know, it'd be kind of cool if they could just reskin him, give him the shield, maybe increase his block proficiency. I don't know, but this Falcon is so good. I'm really happy with the state of this Falcon. I'm interested to see if they will release a Captain America version or not. But yeah, Falcon, absolutely love this guy. I think he's very deserving of that number 3 spot. I think Falcon's top 3, in my opinion, undisputed for the skill class. I think he totally deserves it. Really big fan of Falcon. And again, that stems from just so much of my own personal use using Falcon. I probably use Falcon more than any other skill champion in Alliance War specifically. And yeah, he crushed it. He crushed it so much. So coming in at the number 2 spot, we have a champion that came out this year, and that's ShangChi, however you want to pronounce it. This guy is insane. This guy is so cool. When he first came out, I originally said that I think he's arguably the best skill champion in the game. I don't know if I need some more time to really think about that. Not sure yet. We're gonna have to talk once we get to the number 1 champion and talk about some differences and stuff. But I think ShangChi is just phenomenal. He's got such a great base kit. There's so much that this guy can do, man. During the CCP, I managed solo Luke Cage with him, and it wasn't even that hard. Like, once I got into the rhythm, it was honestly kind of easy, which is insane because the Luke Cage Abyss is I think it is the hardest fight in the Abyss, aside from like the Collector himself. The Collector fight's not even hard, it's just like kind of silly. But the Luke Cage fight is hard, man. It especially if you don't bring a good counter. Like, that's one of the hardest fights in all of Abyss. When I was going through Abyss my first time, I was one of the first 20 people in the world to 100% Abyss. I got the Legends top 20 for it. Like, I cleared Abyss really early. And the fight that gave me the most trouble in Abyss was that Luke Cage. I was unprepared for it, but that was probably gave me the most trouble. And to have been able to solo it so quickly and so easily and so fast with ShangChi during just the CCP period, I think that's just a testament of how good this guy actually is. Just be able to do that, and make it that easy. Like, his play style it's so clean, man. It's so much utility that he has, and so much damage too. And the really cool thing is, some people, I feel like the biggest complaint about him is that, he takes a little while to ramp up his damage. But if you're an extremely skilled ShangChi player, you can ramp up his damage super fast by getting the perfect dodges and perfect blocks, and that builds your damage up way quicker. So he even has all this skill to be able to play to take to like that next level, similar to like Quake and Tigra, where the really skilled players kind of like just take it to a whole new realm of possibility. And that's why I think with that potential, he with like full the best possible playing with ShangChi, I think he is the best skill champ. But I haven't seen anyone reach that level yet. I'm not even close to that level of mastery while playing him. But I think if you do have that, then he could be the best skill champ. But yeah, just overall, I think he definitely deserves the number 2 spot, just based on his possible damage and just all his laundry list of utility, being able to create his own combos, having a reliable slow, having a reliable debuff shrug, being unblockable, all this stuff, man, just makes him such a solid champion. I think he definitely deserves that number 2 spot. Maybe one day in that number 1 spot. Speaking of the number 1 spot, though, the best skill champion in the game, Nick Fury. So I don't think this was a surprise to really anyone. Nick Fury's been regarded as the best skill champ in the game for quite a while, and it's fitting. He is just so insane for a couple of reasons. The only reason why I want to take him out of the number 1 spot is because, to play Nick Fury to his fullest potential, you need to be in your second life. You need to use up the signature ability, which is like a safety net, which is awesome. But again, to be in that like best case scenario with Nick Fury, best damage output, best utility, all that, you need to utilize the signature ability. You need to, sometimes you end up like dying on purpose just to get to this best case scenario with Nick Fury, right? People do that all the time. You see them take hits, die on purpose, and then that's when you get the real Nick Fury. But that's wasted potential with the signature ability. And then you're stuck at 30% and below. You can't go over 30% once you've used up your signature ability. And that's my biggest problem with Nick Fury. If he didn't need to use that signature ability to get that, then it wouldn't even be close. He'd just be undisputed, by far the best champ, like no arguments. But it's just, having to play with only 30%, that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for error. That's the only nitpick I have with Nick Fury. But when you're in that 30% mode, your damage is insane. You can't miss. You can't be evaded. Your bleed damage is insane. You can become fully unblockable. Like, you just become such a god once you're in that 30% mode. But that's my only problem with it. I really love the safety net of his signature ability. Like when I'm playing him in Alliance War, I don't want to just burn up the signature ability. I want to save it as a safety net. But then, my damage doesn't feel nearly as good. I don't have the same utility that I would have. And it's just, it leaves Nick Fury in kind of a weird place, But even with all that said, because of how good that potential is at 30%, it is worth it. It is worth it to get down to that 30%. The damage and all the utility that you get from it, it is totally worth it. So he still is the best skill champ until ShangChi can prove otherwise, I think, or until we get like some new crazy skill champion, I suppose. But yeah, Nick Fury, dude, just such a beast. We all know Nick Fury's insane. I'd love to get this dude as a 6-star. And the great thing about him is, Sig 1. He's good to go. That's all you need, man. Signature level 1, which is awesome. But he does need that 1 Sig. That 1 Sig is very important. And then for a couple of honorable mentions, man, we got Crossbones, who recently got buffed. I think Crossbones is an absolute beast. I just don't have a whole lot of hands-on experience with him, so I couldn't justify putting him in the top 5. I don't think he's better than any of the 5 I mentioned. Maybe in some specific scenarios. But I definitely think he deserves to be honorably mentioned. Another honorable mention I have is, who else was I gonna mention? Stealth Spidey. This dude's awesome. He just, I don't know. He doesn't quite make top 5 anymore. At one point he was, and then the same goes for Blade, man. Blade still is so insane. Like, thinking about this, like, Blade's regen is honestly nuts. He was like the best champ in the game for so long. But yeah, I feel like I forget about Blade. I forget Blade's even a thing sometimes anymore, man. And I never use him. I like never use my Blade. Yeah, I don't even remember last time I used Blade. Which again goes back to the whole, my hands-on experience with these characters. Like, it's a character that I don't really ever use. I can't really justify putting them in the top 5 anymore. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for the top 5 list of the skill class. Let me know your guys' list, if you agree with mine, if you disagree with mine. Let me know in the comment section down below. But again, let's keep it civil. Let's have a nice talk down there. No need to be jerks. And yeah, if you guys did enjoy the video, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. It really helps me and the channel out. That's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.